we are at the SEMA Show 2022 in Las Vegas, Nevada, and this is the place to come if you want to find like the latest car parts, the latest performance parts for anything you can think of. It's all right here at the SEMA Show. And we are here with our 2008 BMW that we built, the LS Swap T56 Swap BMW that we built this year at CarCraft Video. And it's here in our display, which I think is really cool because normally we have like really high-end, big dollar builds in our booth, but here we are with the BMW. And so that's kind of an honor for me. We had a Q&A session yesterday with me and Kevin and Ian Johnson from Digital Lug, and had a really good reception on the builds we've done so far. So what we're here to do now is work on our last build for 2022. We have a 1972 Nova that we're about to start working on. And we're not gonna leave this engine stock in the Nova. So we did some shopping inside and came up with an engine combination that I think is gonna work for the street for our build. So let's go inside and take a look at some of the components that we're gonna put in the Nova. We're in Skog & Dickey's booth, and we came across this crate engine package that they offer. This is the L8T, and I do have to admit I'm not very familiar with the direct injected LT engines. I'm more of a small block and a big block Chevy kind of guy. So I'm looking forward to working with this kind of architecture. This is a 400 cubic inch engine, 6.6 liters, 10.8 to 1 compression. It's got oil piston squirters. So kind of like exotic parts on a production engine. These are normally, I believe, in like truck applications. Our producer, Cody, had one of these engines in the U-Haul that he was using to tow our Buick Regal around from that episode. And he liked the power delivery. We're gonna add a few performance parts, but I think this is gonna be a great application for our Nova. Here we are in Holley's booth, and this is the style of manifold that we're gonna use on our L8T in the Nova. These Holley intakes are really cool because they're very versatile. You can have different lids outfitted with traditional looking dual quads, or you can have these forward opening throttle bodies that most modern fuel injectors have. So here's the manifold. We got our engine platform basically all figured out, and we're gonna continue to do some more shopping here at the SEMA Show for drivetrain and suspension, and then we're gonna start building our car. So we're no longer at the SEMA Show, but here we are at the SEMA Garage in Diamond Bar, California. And this is a really cool place to work on a car. So this is our 72 Nova. This is the first time I've seen it this morning. It's an interesting car. It looks like a nice driver. The most noteworthy feature you'll see is the weird sunroof on it. And I learned that that is a very rare option that was only on 72 and 3 Novas. They call it the Sky Roof. It's got nice paint. It's got a 350. With some performance parts on it, drum brakes, which is a sketchy thing these days anymore. So we're gonna definitely get rid of those. It's got a 3-speed automatic transmission, that's gotta go away too. So we will be upgrading this thing with the LT engine that we were talking about in Skog & Dickey's booth. A new trans, brake upgrade for sure, suspension, cooling system, a whole new engine management system. And since we only have about a week's worth of time, we're bringing back a guy who's used to working on cars in a week's time. My friend Christian Ariaro, who's part of our Week to Wicked program.
Surprise, surprise! Oh, there you go. Look at that. You can put it over there.
So Christian and I are about to jump in the car, take it for a spin.
All right, John.
And then get back in here and start working on it. Yeah,
not too shabby. Yeah,
this could use a little more power.
No, for sure. It's a 350. I mean,
yeah.
Stepping it up to a bigger engine and
yeah. It's not a bad driving car. It's pretty comfy.
Sounds nice.
It does. Good cruiser. But we were talking back in the shop. The guy who owns it is named Dave, and he's got a family. He wants to be able to drive this car around a lot more.
Yeah, he wants something reliable.
Right, with his kids in it. He doesn't want to have to like give himself 200 feet to stop in the car in front of him.
For sure. Yeah, and you don't want to be cruising, you know, on the freeway with this transmission screaming at 3,000 RPMs. Car's good looking too, man.
It is. I like these Novas from this generation.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think the guy painted it at his house too.
Yeah, I heard that. So that's impressive. It's not bad looking for a home paint job.
No, it's not.
And then yeah, the steering really needs some help.
Yeah, I can feel it a little bit.
Yeah, the steering wheel's off center, and I just don't, it wanders around.
Oh yeah,
so
you don't want that.
definitely needs an alignment too. So we'll be taking care of all that stuff.
Sure. I think it's time to get to work, John.
I know. Got some fluids to drain and brakes to take off.
Yeah.
And nothing we haven't handled before.
No, definitely not.
That rust or their deck's cool in that.
Oh, look at these. They're all nice and buttered up.
This is pretty nice, isn't it?
Yeah. Man, how long is this thing? Oh, that's hot. There we go. Hope there's nothing in here. All right. Well, there's the other battery. It's nice that there's one key that opens everything. One bolt down. There's that extra long one. Is that a one wire?
Yeah.
That's a pretty big alternator,
It is.
to be honest.
Yeah. I might find a home for it.
That thing looks pretty hefty.
It does.
I don't know what's going on over here, but it's like chalk, pink. I don't think I've ever seen that before. The other side's completely just raw color, but for some reason, I might have painted it some type of color, I don't know.
This fan shroud looks like a baking sheet or something, because you can tell it's been cut and shortened. So it works. There we go.
Now, would you look at that?
Nice.
Long tube.
It's salmon colored.
Whew. Thought it was gonna be powdery. Gonna suction out some of the power steering fluid. That way we don't make such a big mess. Yeah. All right, got it. There we go.
Nice.
Woo. It's not blood, that's power steering fluid.
Stick it in the oven.
That's a lot better. Yeah. Hey, look, those are pink too. There we go. Yeah, I think we're pretty good on as far as yanking this motor out.
Yeah. I think you're right. We used the cherry picker to get the engine off the crate, but now we need the engine hoist to get the 350 out of the Nova, so got an engine stand here. It is a service replacement engine. This is an all-new engine, 6.6 liter, and makes about 415 horsepower. It's gonna be a huge step up from the 350 that's in our Nova right now. There we go. So at home, I have a load leveler on my engine hoist, which is one of those bars with a crank that'll change the angle of the engine that the hoist is lifting from. This is a new thing to me. It's a tilt lift with steel braided cable, and you can adjust the angle of each of these lengths of cable to accommodate different angles of the engine. And it's cool to be able to do that. It's very helpful to be able to do that because we're going to be angling the front of the engine up and pulling it out that way. So it's very useful to be able to adjust the angle of the engine as you pull it out, rather than just lifting it straight up.
That's actually pretty nice.
Wow, that's cool. There we go.
Careful, John.
Got it.
Oh, careful.
Got it. Lightly used small block.
Yeah.
I know what I got. No low ballers.
Spit it all out, buddy. It's gonna be good tomorrow. I know how you feel, man.
We've all been there.
Just need some Pedialyte.
These second generation Novas are very similar to first generation Camaros and Firebirds, and the suspension that is on here is actually from a 67 Firebird. So technically it all fits the Nova, but still designed for a different car, and that's kind of why we're changing everything out right now, just to put all new parts on here with our new brakes and new spindles. Did you loosen the lower ball joint over here?
No.
Okay.
It was already loose?
It is not even tight.
Oh man. Whoa, you saw that little rock? Woo! That missed my foot. I've actually seen a guy break his toe like that.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
Send that thing flying home.
Go.
Whoa! Just kidding.
Upper shock bolt, the threads are messed up and the nut isn't coming off. Plus, there's supposed to be like a square that you're supposed to be able to grab with a pair of pliers or a tool or something to hold the shock shaft and keep it from turning while you unthread the nut. And that part's been cut off, it's not here, so I'm gonna cut this nut and basically just cut the whole thing off.
We can actually make some space. There we go. You saw it moving? That's because the steering column's moving up there. Are we pretty good?
Yeah, it's okay.
Whoa, what is that? There's like some weird egg back there.
Ew, like spider web.
I don't know what it is.
What we're going to do now is, I don't know how much droop there is in these leaf springs. If the shocks are still holding the housing and the springs up, that might be the case. They're just gonna put a screw jack under here just in case. We're gonna loosen these shocks. Then we can lower the car all the way down to the ground, set the housing on jack stands, take the leaf spring bolts out from the shackles, lift the car up. All the rest of the stuff stays on the ground.
Oh, don't you love the smell of gear oil? Probably one of the worst smells, I think.
This is a good place to end our episode right now. We've got the front suspension completely taken apart, engine and transmission out of the car. We're draining the axle fluid, and tomorrow off camera we're going to be rebuilding the stock differential, and we're going to be replacing the differential and adding new ring and pinion gears. So we're going to go from 292s to 373 gears. It's going to make a big difference in this car. And then after that, stay tuned. We'll be working on the front suspension, putting new parts, new brakes next time around, maybe adding some new gauges, and then after that, getting ready to drop in the new engine and transmission.
Bye-bye. Whoa! It sprayed. There's actually a tube.
It might have been a mercury switch.
I remember when I was a kid, I actually paid with mercury.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.